Okay, so I know that it's not the craziest theory, the craziest idea, but I'm thoroughly convinced at this point. And in this video, for those that may be skeptical on it, I think that I can take that idea of, all right, this is a little out there, to maybe making it make sense. That theory in regards to Modern Warfare Season 7 and what we should have gotten months ago. Now, as much as I'd love for a Season 7 to still come here with content coming to Modern Warfare, I don't think that's the case. However, if you were to rewind the clocks, I think this might have been something that was actually planned. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think that we were going to get a Season 7 for Modern Warfare? Does this theory make sense here, or do you think it's still kind of out there? Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down below, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you do, make sure you drop a like down below. Let's aim for 1,000 likes here on this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we round up to Season 5 here within Warzone, Cold War, and maybe even Modern Warfare, and what lies on the horizon. If you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. That said, let's talk about Season 7 and what we never ended up getting at the time. Now, the rumor, again, believe it or not, for the possibility of a Season 7 was rooted well before the launch of Black Ops Cold War even, with items being introduced into the game files as of Season 5 and Season 6, and even part of the official listing for Season 6's Battle Pass on the Call of Duty website mentioned the inclusion of COD points to use for the purchase of Season 7's Battle Pass, but we saw this build up for new content, even despite the game heading towards the final bit of supported time, leading until Cold War's launch. But with the launch of Cold War, the idea was seemingly put into limbo, as we wouldn't see new DLC launch when a new game was coming. That was kind of a given, but the idea then that the game could be getting some new DLC content for those that didn't quite find any interest in Cold War was something to speculate on and drove some hope home to people. But I think the real idea of it was because of how perfectly it all fit. I mean, look at the content we had at the time of Black Ops Cold War's launch that didn't release from Modern Warfare. You had 2 operators of Soap and Sparks, you had 3 weapons of the CX-9, the RAAL LMG, which actually still isn't released to this day, the Sykov pistol, and you could speculate that a melee weapon was coming in the way of the Ice Pick, which we've seen within the Soap Operator bundle now as well. You had 3 maps of Kill House, Al Rob Airbase, and Drainage, and you had new bundles in the game files like the Sparks bundles, the Ronin Crimson Ronin pack, the Rainbow Unicorn Tracer pack, and so on and so forth. Now, if you were to cross-reference this with literally any seasonal roadmap, you'll find that it's almost an exact match in terms of content quantity for mainline experiences in Modern Warfare, excluding Warzone and things like that. Season 6 for MP had 2 new operators listed, 2 new weapons listed, 2 6v6 maps, 1 gunfight, and 1 ground war map at launch with a melee weapon in season. Season 5 had 1 new operator listed, 2 new traditional MP maps, 1 gunfight, and 1 ground war map, 2 weapons listed with a melee weapon and the Finn coming in season, and 1 new operator in Velikan coming in season as well. Season 4 had 1 new traditional MP map at launch, 1 in season, 1 gunfight map and 1 ground war map at launch, 1 new operator at launch of Price, and 2 in season of Gaz and Rose, 2 new weapons at launch with the Rytec and the Kali sticks coming in season. And well, you kind of get the picture here from this. It's literally the exact same mode of what any other season in Modern Warfare included. So that sort of idea for Season 7 was of course ingrained in people's heads because it just fits so perfectly. But I think that when it comes down to it, this may have been the plan all along, to see a Season 7, or at the very least, a sort of safety net for Call of Duty to use if player counts were down or interest was low in Cold War, drop some new content where other stuff may not be picking up. But when Cold War's integration came along, Season 1 came along, there wasn't a whole lot to be seen with it. We saw that rank shift, we saw that integration with Warzone, but nothing for Modern Warfare. All that previously named stuff was just left in limbo. And after a few days, we ended up getting the biggest Wild Goose Chase start. When that Modern Warfare intel mission sequence came to a close, we got our final bit of intel missions, and we got an end cutscene for completing that, if you will, which many thought was the sort of culmination of the leaks and everything leading to the nuke event. And that was what a lot of people initially, slightly diverging off topic here, a lot of people were disappointed if that was the nuke event because it was just literally a cutscene, which I guess the actual nuke event was a cutscene as well, but it was way more in depth than just this cutscene we got for the end of Modern Warfare, if you will. But 141 and all the operators we had seen added to the team all year stopped Sykov's plan to enact World War III by launching the nukes still in the silos in Verdansk. They ended up stopping that, but at the very end, we hear chatter on the comms channel from the one, the only Soap McTavish.
McTavish to actual.
Soap, what's your position?
Have a click off the coast. Things are really heating up out here.
That confirmation, after seeing his build-up be progressed in the game files and everything, sent people into an absolute frenzy, and rightfully so. That was one operator that even from the campaign, when they mentioned him at the very end, everybody lost their minds. They're like, Soap's gonna be coming back, because we saw Price was introduced here. He was a fan favorite, and when we finally got him in Modern Warfare's MP, that was a huge hype factor as well, except nothing after that happened until this past week with Soap, where he was dropped out of the blue. Many thought maybe up until this point, because he didn't come earlier, he'd be tethered to a Modern Warfare 3 campaign remaster. Maybe he'd be tethered to a COD 2021 pre-order bonus. But none of those came to be, though his addition, I think, added the most clarity to the situation that we've seen since then. If you take a look at Soap and his operator skins, I want you to take a second and look at if you notice anything out of the ordinary. No? If not, I'll ask, what season are we in currently? And what season does Soap have listed? Season 1. Season 1 for Black Ops Cold War started on December 16th and went until February 24th, but he never came then. In fact, I don't recall any of the missing Modern Warfare content to have come into the game until Season 2 Reloaded. But why Season 1? And this is where I start to think it all makes sense, it all connects. Season 1 began on the 16th of December, right? That cutscene that we just mentioned, though, introduced the world to Soap, but was also released via Intel mission on the 18th of December, just 2 days later. Now, if I remember correctly as well, we had a few mishaps with Intel leading up to that point where it was relatively on a consistent bi-weekly release. Every other week introduced us to new sets of Intel missions that progressed the storyline, that gave us clues to Black Ops Cold War's reveal before that happened, and ultimately gave us that cutscene where we thwarted Sykov's plan. Except a couple of times up until that point, we didn't actually get them on bi-weekly releases. It actually was sometimes 3 weeks. So that initially scheduled sort of build-up that led perfectly to before the launch of Season 1 was cut short a little bit. So while I think misguided a bit, imagine that, a reveal of Soap the week or two before the launch of Season 1, and then his potential release during Season 1. And then that comes back to perfectly tying in as a Season 7. At the time of their creation and introduction into the game files, there was no guarantee that Cold War would be anything stellar, and it still isn't depending on who you ask. And given the rocky nature of the reported development, this was sort of the ace up their sleeve for COD, and I don't think that it could have fit any better time, to be honest with you. Season 1 was new content for Cold War, the integration for Warzone, the reset of the ranking system to bring everyone onto the same ranking system regardless of if they played Modern Warfare, Warzone, or Cold War. The only thing that didn't get content during that Season 1 sort of overhaul was Modern Warfare. Yet, here we had an entire mold for a new season just sitting there, dormant, with a now-released Soap that indicates that he was supposed to be released during that time frame. To me, Season 7 was absolutely something that was supposed to happen that we just never got. Would I have liked that dropped all at once as opposed to getting a map or two here or there, an operator or a weapon strung out over the course of the next couple of months, giving us a little more over time as opposed to just all at once? I don't know. I'll be totally honest with you. It was kind of irritating to see all of this stuff kind of strung along with no real information, kind of just dropped out of nowhere when it did happen, but I don't know which one I would have liked more. Ideally, I would have loved to see them still making Modern Warfare DLC content, but obviously that hasn't happened. But if there's anything that I feel like I've learned from Soap's release here, it's definitely that it strengthens that idea that a Season 7 was supposed to be coming for Modern Warfare. Whether or not that's ever actually confirmed or denied, I don't think we'll ever see that happen, but in my mind, it solidifies that thought. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Do you think a Season 7 was supposed to happen here for Modern Warfare? Do you think it was just all a stroke of dumb luck that all these coincidences come together? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare content, Warzone, Cold War, anything relating to COD, we got you covered here on the channel. So if you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from me outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. So if you want to strike a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.